Ever watch someone carve up your family's legacy like it's a cheap plot for sale? I'm Michael Harrington, 40, a history buff turned accidental rancher, guarding an 80-acre slice of heaven my great-grandfather James bought in 1920. My ranch, all rolling ridges and whispering pines, holds a century of Harrington grit, cabins, creeks, and memories etched in an oak chest. Picture me on my porch, coffee steaming when a rumble shakes the pines. Not thunder bulldozers gutting my ranch's eastern ridge. Westview HOA's claws were in, and their queen, Jessica Mills, thought she'd won. She didn't know my great-grandfather's trap was waiting. I've unraveled Cold War archives, but this was greed on steroids. Sipping coffee, I heard the growl. 3 yellow beasts tearing earth, surveyors staking a grid like they owned it. My boots hit the ridge, pines swaying, and there she was. Jessica Mills' tailored blue suit, tablet glowing, barking orders. "Excuse me," I shouted, jogging down. "What's happening on my ranch?" Her glance was pure dismissal, like I was a stray dog. "This isn't your ranch, sir," she said, voice syrupy with contempt. "Westview Estates has permits for Oak Ridge expansion." My face burned. I'm Michael Harrington. My family's owned this ranch for 100 years. Deeds in my cabin. Jessica's smile was ice, her fair skin flawless under a blonde bob. "Mr. Harrington, county records say this section's abandoned. Our legal team's airtight, 15 attorneys, property law experts." She flashed her tablet, a survey map, slicing 30 acres off my ranch. "Impossible," I stammered, heart pounding. "I've got the 1920 deed." Her gray eyes didn't blink. "Take it up with our lawyers. This development's moving forward." She strutted off, bulldozers, roaring stakes gleaming. My ranch, where my dad taught me to fish, where great-grandpa James worked, 3 jobs to buy freedom, was a construction site. Helplessness clawed me. But Jessica didn't know she'd stepped into a trap. Set a century ago, my great-grandfather, paranoid about land grabbers, had buried a legal bomb in our deed. Those 156 homes, they'd be her downfall. I stormed to my cabin, pines, rustling oak chest, waiting. The deed was there, yellowed but ironclad. Maybe it held answers. My neighbor, Clara Evans, 60s, wiry, with sun-browned skin, had warned me about Westview. "They're sharks." She'd said her vegetable garden thriving next door. I called her Michael. "They're building on your land," she gasped. "Check your deed. Old ranches have tricks." Her words sparked hope. Jessica's tablet map was a lie. My ranch was whole. I hit the county assessor's office by noon, a beige maze of humming clerks. Property lines were adjusted last year. A bored voice said, "Notices sent. Notices." My mailbox held bills, not theft, alerts. The building inspector was worse, barely glancing up. "Westview's permits are clean. Hire a surveyor." I called a lawyer friend, Sam Torres, whose laugh was grim. "Westview's legal team eats small fries. Years of court." 6 figures, no win. My ridge view that night was grim. Bulldozers parked, stakes like daggers in my ranch. Jessica waved from below her suit, pristine, a victorious smirk as she toured surveyors. "You're wasting time, Mr. Harrington," she called, voice dripping honey. "First homes are up in months." My blood boiled, but Clara's words echoed, "Old ranches have tricks." That night, porch creaking, I dug into the oak chest. The deed's faded ink was dense, but I'd find great-grandpa's trap. Jessica thought she'd stolen 30 acres, but my ranch was a fortress, and her 156 homes were about to become my weapon. Jessica Mills thought her Westview HOA could bulldoze my ranch into Oak Ridge Estates, her tablet's fake map claiming my eastern ridge. Her smug waves fueled me, but great-grandpa James's deed held a trap she'd never see coming. I've decoded dusty archives, but Westview's heist was a masterclass in gall. Jessica's 15 attorneys, taunt echoed as I slumped on my porch pines, whispering coffee cold. My neighbor Clara, wiry sunbrowned, had warned me Westview's sharks check your deed. My first week was a bureaucratic slog. County clerks muttered, notices sent, and building inspectors shrugged. Westview's permits are clean, one said, eyes glued to his screen. 3 lawyers scoffed. 6-figure court battles. No guarantees. Meanwhile, bulldozers roared, framing a dozen homes on my ridge, stakes like daggers in my dirt. Clara dropped by at dusk. Garden boots, crunching gravel, anything in that deed, she asked, eyes sharp. Digging, I said. Oak chest, open in my cabin. The deed's yellowed pages were a legal labyrinth. Great-Grandpa James's paranoia, my guide. My dad's voice lingered. He feared developers. 3 hours. 2 coffees later, I struck gold, a provision. Should any entity construct improvements on this ranch, without the deed holder's consent, said improvements become the owner's property. No compensation due. My hands shook. Every house was mine. I called Thomas Green, my dad's lawyer friend, at dawn. His office. A maze of law books and cigar smoke buzzed with promise. Thomas stooped, pale white hair, wild, squinted at the deed through bifocals. Michael. This is a legal grenade, he rasped, grinning. Recorded binding a century old. I leaned in, pines rustling outside. Stop them now. His eyes gleamed. Wait, the more they build, the more you own. 156 homes yours. My jaw dropped. Wait, they're framing houses. Thomas tapped the deed. Every nail buries Westview. Stop them, they lose dirt. Finish the homes. You're a landlord. I pictured Jessica's blue suit, her tablet flashing on my ridge. They'll sue, I said. Thomas chuckled. Let them. This is airtight, county-backed. I left pines casting shadows on my gravel drive, head spinning with a plan to let Westview build my empire. Next morning, Jessica strutted on my ranch blonde bob, bouncing gray eyes, mocking Mr. Harrington, still sulking. She called, tablet glowing suit, corporate crisp. My deed was a guillotine, but I played dumb. Just watching my ranch, I shot back phone, snapping her stakes. She laughed, turning to a surveyor. First buyers move in soon. If you're loving this ranch, showdown. Smash that like button to keep the trap tightening. My blood boiled, but Thomas's words anchored me. The more they build, the more you own. I hit the county records office, a fluorescent tomb of files. A clerk confirmed the provision recorded and untouched. Rare as hell, she muttered, handing me certified copies. Clara met me on my porch, eyes wide. You found it. I flashed the deed. Great-Grandpa's trap. She grinned. Let Jessica build your castle. I bought a high-end camera, started a journal. Every frame, every nail logged. My ridge glowed with construction lights, bulldozers, carving my future. Jessica thought she was queen. She was crafting her doom. That week, I added notes. 20 homes framed utilities creeping in. Jessica's tours multiplied her suit, a taunt. I snapped videos, her voice floating. Oak Ridge is the future. My cabin's oak chest held the deed, its ink, my shield. Thomas called. Keep documenting every stake's your ammo. Waiting felt like swallowing glass, my ranch's creaks drowned by truck beeps. But every home was a brick in my fortress. My porch creaked, stars bright. Jessica's victory was my chessboard, and Great-Grandpa's trap was my knight. I've pored over faded war logs, but watching my ranch morph into a suburb was like a blade twisting in my gut. Lawyer Thomas Green's words, the more they build, the more you own, were my lifeline, but each new rooftop on my eastern ridge felt like a betrayal of my family's land. My porch pines whispering through crisp November air was my vigil. Coffee, cold, as I gripped a high-end camera, snapping photos of Oak Ridge's sprawl. 30 homes stood framed their skeletons, stark against my pines, streets, snaking through what was once my creek bed. Jessica, fair-skinned blonde Bob, bouncing strutted with surveyors, gray eyes glinting with mockery. Mr. Harrington still skulking. She called blue suit, sharp as a blade tablet flashing like a crown. I clicked my camera jaw tight. Her laugh, a slap at my great-grandfather's memory. Clara Evans. My neighbor, wiry and sun-browned, leaned on my fence, her garden boots leaving mud on my gravel. "They're at 50 houses," she said, eyes gleaming with defiance. "Your deed's ready to bite." I opened my journal pages thick with 250 photos, 60 videos, every stake and foundation meticulously logged. "Hired a surveyor," I said, pines bending in the breeze. "My ranch is whole. Westview's map is pure fiction." Clara's grin was fierce, her voice low. "Keep your lips sealed, Michael. Let her dig her own grave." My ridge was a battleground, pines felled cement mixers growling, but every hammer strike was a silent win for me. I drove to Thomas's office, a cluttered lair of law books and cigar smoke. "Got 2 more lawyers," he said, pale hands flipping through legal opinions, white hair, a wild crown. "Your deed's provision is a legal juggernaut. County records never touched." I showed him drone footage. $500. Well spent capturing 70 homes rising. Jessica waving to realtors like a monarch. "They're selling fast," I said, voice heavy. The weight of my ranch's transformation crushing families are eyeing move-ins. Curtains up. Thomas stooped, leaned back, chair creaking. "Westviews. The thief, Michael. Weight and their greed will strangle them." I left pines casting long shadows across my gravel drive. My camera, a quiet ally. The county surveyor's report, $2,000 investment landed like a hammer. My 80 acres stood unbroken, Westview's abandoned claim. A shameless lie. I filed certified copies. My journal. Now a tome. 80 homes, framed power lines, humming street signs, glinting. Jessica's tours were a daily spectacle. Her suit, a corporate taunt, her voice carrying across my ridge. "Oak Ridge is your future," she told a pack of realtors, spotting me with a smirk. "Or Harrington, come admire progress." I waved, recording her every gesture, pines anchoring my resolve. She thought she was queen. My deed was the true sovereign. I spent a morning in the county archives, a dusty crypt of yellowed ledgers, cross-checking the deed's records. A clerk peering over glasses confirmed, "Your provisions intact, filed with the original." I added the notarized page to my arsenal, my heart pounding with the weight of great-grandpa James's foresight. Clara swung by my cabin that evening, a newspaper in hand. Jessica's crowing $450,000 homes, phase 1 nearly gone, she said, eyes glinting. My oak chest sat in the corner. The deed's faded ink my shield. I logged more videos. Workers paving roads, Jessica's tablet dazzling buyers. Her blue suit a beacon of arrogance. Standing on my ridge, one frosty dawn, the air sharp, I watched Oak Ridge glow with 90 homes. Some had curtains. A few sported bikes on porches. One even had a tiny Christmas wreath. Life taking root, where my great-grandfather once fished. My camera clicked, but my chest ached each new home. A stab at my ranch's soul. I called Clara. Voice low. "Families are moving in, kids' decorations. This feels wrong." She paused, then said firmly, "Westview's crime. Michael, not yours. Your deed's justice." Her words steadied me, but the sight of a girl skipping with a soccer ball on my land burned. I invested in a second drone. $600 for broader shots. 100 homes, a clubhouse with scaffolding, a pool, half dug. My journal was a brick. 450 photos, 90 videos, surveyor reports, legal opinions, archive pages. Jessica's latest ad bragged Oak Ridge the region's jewel. I logged it. Nove, 25. 100 homes, families, settling. My porch creaked under starlight. Coffee bitter as I Googled property management. 156 homes loomed like a tidal wave. Jessica waved from my ridge. Her tablet, a flare, first phase, sold out. She shouted, Blonde Bob, catching the light. If you're hooked on this. HOA takedown. Subscribe to catch the trap. Snap shut. Clara visited her boots, tracking dirt. You holding strong? She asked, eyes searching. I showed her drone footage. Oak Ridge sprawling like a city over my creeks, Thomas says. Wait, I said, pines murmuring outside. She nodded, voice steady. Westview's building. Their own coffin. My ridge glowed with construction lights, my ranch a paradox stolen. Yet mine. Jessica thought she'd forged an empire. My great-grandfather's deed was tightening its grip, and her throne was wobbling. I've cracked dusty journals. But watching my ranch become a suburb was like a slow bleed. Thomas Green's mantra, the more they build, the more you own, held firm, backed by 2 lawyers and a surveyor, proving Westview's map was a sham. My porch pines rustling in December's chill was my outpost coffee, cold as I snapped photos with my camera. Oak Ridge swelled 120 homes, framed streets gleaming, a clubhouse rising. Jessica, fair-skinned, Blonde Bob bouncing, led realtors' gray eyes mocking Mr. Harrington, admiring your future. She called, blue suit, sharp tablet flashing. I clicked her stakes, jaw tight. Her laugh, a thorn in my family's legacy. Clara Evans, wiry, sun-browned, met me at my fence, boots muddy homes, at $450,000. She said, eyes glinting. Your trap's primed. I showed my journal. 400 photos, 100 videos, stakes and roofs, logged. Second surveyor confirms, my ranch is whole, I said. Pines steady, but families are moving in kids' wreaths. Clara's gaze softened. Westview's crime. Michael, not yours. My ridge showed 30 homes glowing with Christmas lights. Kids biking on my creeks. My ranch, yet theirs. Every nail was mine, but every twinkling light was someone's dream. I called Thomas. His cigar-soaked office. A legal bunker. They're selling fast, I said, showing drone shots of wreaths and porches. Innocent buyers stop now. Thomas stooped, pale white hair, wild squinted through bifocals. Westview stealing, Michael, stealing. Your deeds, bulletproof county records back it. Stop them. They walk. Wait. They bleed, I paced, pines outside, whispering. Families. Thomas, kids on bikes, he sighed, chair creaking. Your call. But legally, your gold. I left Oak, chest heavy in my cabin, conscience, gnawing like a splinter. Oak Ridge's first 40 homes buzzed with life. Wreaths, scooters, a kid's soccer ball rolling. Stood on my ridge camera, clicking, heart twisting. Jessica toured a couple's suit, pristine, voice syrupy. Meet the Millers. They bought the Colonial. She called, spotting me, Mrs. Miller. Petite, olive-skinned, smiled shyly, her husband nodding. Their 2-story with dormer windows sat on my ranch, Nice Place, I muttered, throat tight, walking away. My journal logged. Home 41 sold mine. Mrs. Miller's smile haunted me, a ghost in my plan to let Westview build. Clara called, that night, voice, sharp Jessica's, in the paper, ribbon cutting, in spring. My oak chest held the deed, its ink, my armor. But Mrs. Miller's kid, kicking a ball, burned. I hired a 3rd surveyor, $3,000 for overkill. Their report, echoing my 80 acres untouched. I added drone shots, 130 homes, clubhouse with a pool taking shape. Thomas texted, 150 homes done. Log every brick. Waiting was a vice, my ranch's pines drowned by hammer pounds. But every home was my leverage. Jessica waved, tablet glowing. Oak Ridge's sold out, I recorded. Pines swaying, blood simmering. I spent a day at the county clerk's digging deeper into property records. A dusty ledger confirmed my deed's provision. Its ink unchallenged, never seen one like it, the clerk muttered, handing me another certified copy. My journal swelled. 500 photos, 120 videos, 3 surveyor reports, legal opinions, Jessica's ad boasted. Oak Ridge Phase 2 soaring, I logged, Deck 15, 140 homes, families growing, my porch creaked, stars dim. A girl waved from a bike on my ranch, her ponytail bouncing. My deed was a guillotine, but her grin was a weight. I met Thomas again, cigar haze thick. Homeowners are settling, I said, showing videos of Christmas lights. I'm profiting off their dreams. He leaned back. Pale hands on the deed, Westview's greed. Michael, your great-grandfather foresaw this. Protect the ranch. I nodded. Sleep scarce. My ridge glowed with 150 homes. My ranch, a stolen suburb. Clara visited, eyes firm. You're not the villain. I added a second drone, $600 for aerial sweeps capturing Oak Ridge's sprawl tennis courts streetlights. Jessica toured buyers, her suit a taunt. Phase 2's gone, she shouted. Blonde bob catching sunlight. I logged it, Pines, steady heart. Heavy January's frost settled my journal. A fortress, 600 photos, 150 videos. A boy flew a kite on my ranch, his laughter echoing. Mrs. Miller's colonial had a wreath, her kid's bike parked. My deed was ready, but my conscience wavered. Jessica thought she'd built a legacy. She'd built my trap and the clock was ticking. I've unraveled ancient texts, but watching Jessica's smugness implode was a thrill like no other. May 15th ceremony sparkled, white tents dotted the clubhouse lawn. Champagne flutes clinking, a string quartet humming. Oak Ridge dazzled, 156 homes. $450,000 each, a pool, shimmering tennis courts, pristine. My ridge pines swaying was bittersweet, my ranch stolen now, poised for reclaiming Jessica. Fair-skinned blonde bob. Christine stood at a podium, gray eyes blazing triumph. Oak Ridge is a community of dreams, she declared. 200 guests, mayor, commissioners, homeowners, clapping wildly. Her blue suit gleamed, her tablet propped like a scepter. I adjusted my tie. Leather portfolio. Bulging deed, 3 legal opinions, 3 surveyor reports, 600 photos, 150 videos. Clara Evans, wiry sun-browned, nudged me in the crowd. Spring it. Michael, she whispered, eyes alight. My heart thundered, but my voice was steel. As Jessica beckoned commissioners for the ribbon cut, I stepped forward. Before you cut that, I boomed. Everyone needs to know something. Heads swiveled, Jessica's face, twisting from confidence to alarm, her suit suddenly rigid, blonde bob quivering. Mr. Harrington. She snapped, voice shrill. This is private tomorrow. I held my ground, pines in my heart. Homeowners deserve this now. The mayor flustered, frowned. What's the issue, sir? I raised the deed, its yellowed pages, glinting voice. Carrying, my family owns this ranch, Westview Built, Oak Ridge, without permission. This deed's provision makes every home clubhouse pool legally mine. Gasps erupted, reporters, scribbled, homeowners, muttered. Jessica's gray eyes widened, face, paling her tablet, slipping slightly in her grip. Westview's lawyer, suited, grim-jawed, lunged for the deed, scanning frantically. Jessica, he hissed, voice cutting the hush. Shut this down. The mayor rattled, addressed the crowd. Ceremonies postponed pending clarification. Guests scattered, homeowners, whispering, some clutching neighbors. Jessica stormed over, blonde bob fraying suit. Creased voice venomous. You knew all along, she spat, gray eyes wild, a bead of sweat on her brow. You watched us build for months. I met her gaze, pines steady. I told you. Day one, this is my ranch. You laughed, flaunted your 15 attorneys. My great-grandfather fought you instead. Thomas Green stooped, pale white hair. Wild, stepped up. The provisions binding county-backed. Contested homeowners will question your vetting. Jessica's shoulders sagged, her empire crumbling in real time. Her tablet, now a useless prop. The next day, headlines roared. Developer's nightmare community built on private ranch. My phone buzzed. Journalists, homeowners, lawyers. Westview's president called voice-taught. Mr. Harrington, we need a resolution. 6 weeks of negotiations. Unfolded boardrooms, thick with tension. Westview's first offer, raw land value, was a slap. Their $20 million second offer fell short. Jessica in the final meeting, suit rumpled blonde bob, limp snapped $60 million, will bankrupt us. I leaned forward. Thomas's grin beside me. You sold homes on my ranch, ignored my warnings. How you want a discount, Miss Miller's kid biking. Weighed heavy, her olive-skinned smile. A ghost. Homeowners keep their homes, I said. I don't punish the innocent. After grueling hours, we settled $48 million clubhouse and amenities mine. 12 unsold homes mine. Westview's public apology, homeowners' deed costs covered. Jessica resigned quietly. Her exit, a whisper in the papers, 3 board members following Westview, limping on borrowed funds. My relief was tidal pride in great-grandpa James's foresight, mixing with exhaustion. My ranch's pines stood tall, my ridge calm, but the weight of 156 families lingered. I founded the Harrington Family Foundation, with $30 million building affordable homes nearby. Houses for teachers, nurses, firefighters, priced for real people. The clubhouse, renamed Harrington Clubhouse, opened to all Willow Creek. Not just Oak Ridge with free kids' tennis lessons and senior swim hours. 8 unsold homes sold cheap to workers. 4 became rentals for displaced families. My porch pines whispering felt whole again. Mrs. Miller invited me to a barbecue, her colonial glowing, her olive-skinned face warm. You saved our home, she said, her kid's bike parked nearby. Clara, at my side, chuckled. Westview's the fool. Michael, I revisited the county records, finding great-grandpa's handwritten note in the deed's margin. Land is legacy guarded. His trap didn't just save my ranch. It reshaped a community. Oak Ridge, born of greed, became a place of fairness under my watch. Jessica's world collapsed, her smug tablet now a relic. But I built something lasting. My ridge pines swaying was no longer a battleground. It was home. Drop a comment. Ever see greed crash like Westview's? My ranch endures. Great-grandpa's trap, a legend.